So the Avalanche tactic, the SEO tactic, not the snow falling off mountains tactic, has been around for a while. I first heard about it maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, but I'm sure it's been around for longer. And when I heard about the technique, I read about it, I went ahead and implemented it. Now, I have an entire article on my website that goes into how to use the Avalanche tactic. And it's a great way to start ranking your website without spending a lot of money. So you don't need to spend a great deal of money on backlinks and content generation, because the premise, and this is something you can read in the article on my website, is you need to start with, if it's a new domain, or if you recently acquired a domain and it's been inactive for a few years, the premise is that you start with keywords that are very low volume, and also like not low volume, but maybe like keywords that are more low difficulty. So you start with keywords that are 0 to 10 difficulty, like they have a 0 to 10 difficulty rating. And then you work your way up to, as your website's traffic increases and your domain authority increases, not domain authority mainly, but primarily the traffic to your website increases, you start targeting more higher difficulty keywords, and that will help you bring in more traffic and help you build more authority, and it's done organically. Now, even though I've used the tactic, and I can tell you from experience that it does work, the problem with this is it's not for everyone. Now, in this video, I'm going to just talk about like who should and shouldn't be using the Avalanche tactic. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, if you want to use the Avalanche tactic, you either should be a website owner that's willing at least a year before you see any traffic that's worth your time, or you're someone in some niches probably take 2 to 3 years before you start seeing any measurable results. And the reason is not because the tactic doesn't work. It does work, but it's also because Google doesn't necessarily instantly start indexing and loving your website or seeing it as an authority and start sending traffic to your site. So it's also partially Google's fault. It's not going to, there are millions of websites out there, but Google is not going to see you as an authority. There are also a few risks involved, which I'm going to talk about in this video, and which is why I don't recommend this tactic for many businesses. And so before you go ahead and start implementing this tactic, and just the so-called gurus on YouTube, it's important to know like what you want to do and what you do not want to do with the Avalanche tactic, and when you want and when you don't want to use the tactic. So before I go into this video, I just want to say that I also offer SEO services. I also offer SEO consultation services. So if you're looking to rank, you need help ranking, you have a problem ranking, your website was recently de-indexed, or if you've been hit by a Google penalty for whatever reason, I can help you recover, I can help you come up with a strategy, I can help you with starting to rank your own website or your client's website. And I also provide SEO services, so monthly services, monthly SEO, or SEO for as long as you need it. I don't tie people down to a contract. So now that I have that out of the way, let's get into the Avalanche tactic. So if you read my article on the Avalanche tactic, one of the ways to start building your avalanche, as it's called. So the avalanche is traffic that's coming in, and it starts with a trickle, and then it is obviously there's a lot of traffic that comes in. The beginning is that you start with low volume keywords. And why I say low volume is because a lot of the low difficulty keywords, or any niche that's worth your effort, is gonna have low volume. So the interest may also vary, and not a lot of people may be interested in those keywords. And so whatever traffic that's being reported is probably 0. It's probably lower than that. And so if you were to believe many of the tools or reporting tools that say that traffic is 100 or 150 or even 50 or 10, it's probably lower than that because these are mainly averages. So one drawback, and why I don't recommend many businesses don't use the Avalanche tactic, is that it's not a foolproof way of ranking your website. And by what that I mean is, if you do it for, let's say, the casino niche, you do it for the CBD niche, or you do it for any other high competition niche, you're not going to see results in a year. You probably take 2 years before you see results for any measurable, any measurable results that's worth talking about. So right off the bat, it's not worth your time. And someone who's targeting that niche obviously has the budget, and they should have the budget to use more conventional SEO tactics or SEO tactics that are more, that will get you better results in a shorter time. So it's definitely not for those people, which make up 90% of my clients. The other reason why I don't recommend using the Avalanche Tactic, and to businesses I don't recommend this Avalanche Tactic, is if you're a service-based business, if you're offering power washing services, or if you're offering if you're an attorney with a website, you're trying to rank for divorce lawyer in XYZ state or XYZ city, this is not something that's going to work for you, because obviously you don't have the time to do the Avalanche Tactic. But if your client is an attorney, this is not going to work for you either, because you can't tell the client it's going to take 3 years before they start seeing any measurable traffic for divorce lawyer, let's say Las Vegas, or divorce lawyer New York. That's just not enough time to, for the tactic to work. So for a service-based business, this is not the right tactic, and I wouldn't advise that you spend your time using the Avalanche Tactic for SEO. The third type of business I would recommend use this tactic are SaaS businesses. So if you offer a SaaS, which is software as a service, you're trying to rank your website, you're trying to bring in more traffic, it would make sense to use the Avalanche Tactic, because it helps you bring in more traffic. But you're starting off at a really low level, so you're starting off from 0 to 10. It's going to take 3 years at least before, at least this is depending on what your SaaS is and what your niche is, but it's going to take 3 years before you see any good amount of traffic that comes to your website. And so with a SaaS, it's an ongoing expense, and usually the expense is a lot more than what SEO costs generally. So if you're trying to cut costs and you're trying to not use the traditional SEO, and you're using the Avalanche Tactic, but you're trying to save money, that's probably going to be the wrong approach, because you're not going to see results for the next 2 to 3 years, and there's not enough time, and by then your SaaS might not even work. So it might not even be as popular, not work, but not as popular. So not the best way to go about doing SEO. Now, what kind of business would benefit from the Avalanche Tactic? So number one, I would say affiliate sites, great way for affiliate sites to build traffic. They can start off at the ground level, 0 to 10 difficulty, then 10 to 20, 10 to 50, just increase the difficulty of the keywords they're trying to target. And usually businesses in the affiliate niche nowadays are trying to build authority. And this is a great way to build authority, not spend a lot of money on doing it, because you're only generating content and you're only doing research for the content. Now, writing content may seem to be easy enough and cheap enough, but trust me, when you start doing it, it's a lot more expensive, a lot more time consuming. The second type of business that would benefit greatly from using the Avalanche Tactic is a business that's trying to generate traffic for advertising. So if you're like in the Google advertising program or MediaWine or any one of these services, this is something you're trying to make some traffic from and then trying to monetize your traffic, then this would be a great way to do it. But you're not going to be approved for Google AdSense anytime soon. So you have to give yourself a year at least before you start seeing any measurable results, and before you apply for Google AdSense. And at that point, it's up to Google to approve you. But other services would, I imagine, approve your site if you're getting a decent amount of traffic. And you don't want to spend a lot of money doing it. You just have some time on your hands. You just can maybe dedicate 2 to 3 hours a week to generating content. This would be a good strategy for you. But then there are also other strategies that you might want to look into. But this is like the lowest cost, 0 cost actually, which is only going to cost you time to generate content. So maybe this might be something for you. Finally, you will only want to use this tactic, or if your business, if you're trying to run a business, if you're just trying to build a personal brand. So if this is something like if I was trying to build a personal brand as an SEO, I would probably use this tactic to generate more traffic to my website, and eventually it will come to the point where I have a lot of traffic and people recognize me. Is that the most efficient tactic? Probably not, but it does work. So I hope you guys found this video useful. The link to the blog post on how to do the Avalanche Tactic is in the comment. It's in the description below. If you have a question, leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer. I try to answer all questions. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.